Welcome to the Refractor Rants podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Tommy, aka TV Sports Cards. I'm here with my good friend and co-host Max, aka Cards Max, aka Cards Max, Jackson Holiday Edition. Max, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Earth Day was yesterday. Earth Week is this week. Earth Year and Earth Millennium is forever. And I'm here to celebrate the Earth by collecting cardboard that has been chopped off by trees.
Well, here to celebrate the cutting down of trees for the use of cardboard, we have the one and only Adam at VilleGraphs.
What up, guys?
You can frequent him. You can see him on Bridgeport Hobby socials frequently. Adam, how's it going?
Man, it's wonderful. Before we start, I just want to say I've wanted to do this for such a long time, probably over a year, and I've been holding this card. I've been wanting to show you it, but I only wanted to show you it when I got the chance to do this. Okay.
All right.
The most Tommy card ever. We got the 2009 Topps Heritage Chrome of Helen Keller.
Oh, that's the iconic.
Oh my God. Someone walked up to my table at a card show with this, and I had to buy it from him.
I will say, Adam, I did see you post that, though. I did see you post it.
Damn it.
That is a iconic card for the podcast. I think I talked about it.
I want to get it signed.
That's definitely the set of the podcast.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. I do appreciate it.
Of course, Adam. It's been a long time coming. I know you've been a friend of the pod for a long time. Do you want to take a sec here and introduce yourself to the people that might not know who VilleGraphs is?
Yeah. My name is Adam Rosenstein. I am the head of purchasing at Bridgeport Hobby Sports Cards in Chicago, Illinois. We are rated by many publications the #1 card shop in the state of Illinois. We are 4 blocks from where the White Sox play baseball.
That's
in
right.
the south side. Yeah, in the south side of Chicago. And I handle a wide variety of responsibilities there, mainly purchasing sports cards and selling sports cards. Yeah, and outside of that, I run my own account on social media. They handle Ville_Graphs. I've been kind of doing that for about 6 years now, and yeah, that's my spiel.
Nice. I would love to see what publications are ranking card shops. I would totally read that. So
I'll send you some links.
Please do send me the links.
Adam,
we first met. I think at the 2022 National in Atlantic City.
You were the first person who ever came up to me at a card show and said, "I know you from the internet. You're hilarious." I was like, "No, I'm not." Like, no.
Hey.
Yeah, we met in AC at the. I mean, that was everyone's favorite national. We met at the Atlantic City National, and and then I think the next time we met was at the show at the Allstate Arena.
It's likely. It's likely. Max, how did you and Adam get connected?
I think we first met at one of the Philly shows in 2022. If I remember correctly, you were set up with another friend of the podcast, Rohan's Cards.
Correct.
And that was a fun show.
Has Rohan been on here?
No.
He has not.
Not yet.
Let's go. I beat him.
Well, wait. All right, Adam. Backtracking here for a sec. You kind of beat me to the punch, but I do want to know what the origin of VilleGraphs is. Like, when did you start collecting?
So people think I'm crazy when I say this, but I've been in this industry for about 20 years now. I'm 28 years old, and in 2004, when I was 9, I was given a hobby box of 2004 Topps. I opened it and loved it. I sorted all the cards in my room, and I've always been a huge baseball fan, so I sorted all the cards in my room, put them in piles, put them in all that. The next year, one of my dad's coworkers, dads died or something, and they just gave me a shit ton of it was junk wax cards, but they just gave me all these cards. So I just hoarded all these cards, and I just kind of kept them in my house. kept buying cards and still loving sports as time went on. So as time went on, I was in 7th grade, and you had to take an elective in my middle school for the last period of every day. One of my teachers, who I will never forget, and I still to this day want to go back to my old middle school and thank him, but he had an elective called Autograph Club. And what he did was he taught students who love sports how to get autographs from their favorite athletes, whether that be through the mail or in person. And I was so enamored by this fact, I made it a point to try to get all these old, weird, and current cards that I had signed. And I just fell in love with graphing. As time went on, I just kept doing it. And in 2018, I was living in Louisville, Kentucky, and I was getting autographs from the minor league baseball team that was there, the Louisville Bats. And I was at the stadium, and I met this kid, and he wasn't a kid. He was like 21, but he goes, "What's your Instagram?" And I like told him my Instagram, and he goes, "No, like, what's your like card Instagram?" And I was like, "That's a thing?" He's like, "Oh yeah, man, there's a big community of people online." I'm like, "All right, cool, sign up." So I didn't want to make it like Adam's Autographs. Like, I didn't want to make it something stupid. I was living in Louisville. Louisville's called the Ville. I was just like, all right, VilleGraphs. VilleGraphs was taken. I was like, Ville_graphs. Just taken. And it's just been going on from there. 2020, when the pandemic hit, you couldn't really get autographs in person because sports was shut down. So I kind of focused a lot more on sports cards and just buying and reselling cards. And the page is just taken off. Went to my first Dallas card show during the pandemic, and everything's been uphill from there.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah.
I'm always a big fan of hearing how people started exploring the online world of cards, because everyone has their own path there. Before I ask you how you ended up at Bridgeport, I do have to give Max space here. Max, you have one of the all-time graph stories just happened to you this last week.
Oh, I wanted to hear about this. Max had a huge return in the mail.
Yeah. So I talked about in the past how I've had 3 different triads, or whatever vocabulary word you want to use, shoot in your head, how I've collected as a young kid, and then I re-got into collecting in middle school, high school, where I was viciously consuming blowout forms without a debit card to my name. So I just became super knowledgeable about cards in the hobby without any way to access it outside of just ripping my own packs. And I now have my rediscovered collecting as an adult, my 3rd phase. But during that 2nd phase, of course, autograph cards are hard to hit out of packs and boxes. I wasn't even ripping boxes back then, just blaster boxes. And one of my favorite pitchers during that time was Garrett Richards of the Los Angeles Angels. So I did some basic reading on through the mail autograph collecting, and how most players, they receive fan mail. And if you want to get an autograph, you usually can, but it's going to be in a pool of envelopes, and that you have to have a self-addressed stamped envelope back. Maybe I can be corrected in that if my initialism is off. But you have a self-addressed stamped envelope in your package. And I wrote Garrett Richards a very lovely letter from my 14-year-old self about how he won my fantasy baseball team and how I liked him as a pitcher. And it was genuine. It was heartfelt. I did genuinely enjoy the man as a 14-year-old. But I sent that out in 2014 from when I moved to New York to here, and surprised even the forwarding was successful. And this past week in 2024, this letter was sent in 2014, so a decade in the making. I finally have my Garrett Richards autographed 2014 Topps flagship card. That is a bold signature, baby. It's like, it wasn't put in a top loader or a sleeve. It wasn't put with anything protecting it. It has a huge dinged corner. But it was thrown in the envelope only containing this card, and received by me in the mail this past week. And
you gotta
one in through the mail autographs.
You gotta slab that.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I want to slab it authentic auto 10, but it takes like $70 door to door. So I have to find someone doing a group submission for that.
Adam, I would love to know what you learned in that class. Is there any secrets?
Well, man, it wasn't really a class. So he basically like just we really just sat around and like wrote letters to athletes. So like we started in September when the school year started, and then it ended at the end of the semester in December. And whoever got like the best player back, I think like won like a prize. I didn't win shit, but someone won something. I don't know.
Wait, no. I don't even care about the class anymore. I just want to hear it. What are your tips though? Like if you're going to go TTM someone.
So through the mail now is so different because everyone charges. Like you can get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but you just got to send him money. Like, and that's just like, it's it's not cheating, but it's like, is it cool? Like you used to be able to write a letter to Clayton Kershaw and he'll send you shit back signed for free. Like the big name players who like are actively playing, like they don't do it anymore. And it's just like, I mean, every once in a while you might get people. And there were like, there's websites, like there's sportscollectors.net. It's $12 a year and you get basically anyone who's ever played a sport in their life's address. It's kind of weird. You can get all these addresses and people like report their successes and like their failures. So you like can check up on who's actively signing. But like back when I was doing it in middle school, there wasn't like, I mean, there was obviously the internet, but there wasn't like this extensive database on like not market trends, but like trends on who's signing actively and like how long it's going to take. You kind of just, you're like, I want to send to that player. And then you waited.
No, I was going to say, one of my buddies who is about my age, this past summer, he got into, as an adult, graphing. You know, he was in law school and the summer was a little bit drier for him, and he picked up the habit and he was sharing with me some of his through the mail autographs when I was catching up with him, because he knows that I sell sports cards full time or something silly like that. And he was sharing how he went to the library, would print out a nice photo and would get it signed. And two of the autograph names that stuck out were Wade Boggs, who he had to slip a $10 bill in the mail for, and Charlie Ward of the New York Knicks, which is just a completely random 90s to 2006 player. So what goes into the intent of finding out who specifically you want to get a graph of? Because if it's someone that's too famous, then they have a ton of mail and they never sign it, if ever. But also if they're too niche, then what's the desirability there?
So I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it's kind of like collecting cards. Like, I mean, you pull a 101 of like some random third string linebacker and everyone's thought is like, who the hell wants that? But like someone out there wants that guy. Like, you know, it's just kind of who you're a fan of. Like, to be honest with you, Max, if Garrett Richards was walking down the street, I wouldn't ask him for an autograph. Like, I don't care about Garrett Richards. But just like, there are some people who want Garrett Richards autographs. Like that, there's just some people who do. So,
and I
mean, historically, one of the best TTM, like one of the most reliable TTM signers ever is Dirk Nowitzki. He signed all, I've gotten him so many times through the mail. But he moved back to, he's in Germany now. So like you can get him, but it's just takes a while. I much prefer that I like meeting people. I don't like some people just like getting their shit signed. I actually like to meet the person.
I am shocked that Dirk was a huge TTM guy, because isn't he kind of a notorious guy who doesn't sign like certified, like pack pulled autos? Like I feel like his pack pulled autos are rare.
So that's because Panini doesn't want to cut him the check that he wants.
I respect that heavy, honestly. I respect that a lot. Quick, we like to do hard pivots here, Adam. I'm going to do a quick hard pivot for us to talking a little bit more about what you do nowadays. You know, I love the graphing stories, and I think I would love to keep hearing more of those if you think of any throughout the rest of the podcast. But something that is really fascinating to me is kind of your job right now. I think there's a lot of people out there in the world who don't know that there are roles out there where you can get jobs in the hobby without having to make, you know, necessarily you don't have to go the Cards Max route of self-funding the whole thing. I know
people don't realize you don't have to work for yourself to do cards full time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So can you tell us how you ended up in your position and kind of like what you do now on a day-to-day basis?
I still don't even know how I ended up in my position. So basically, the whole. Do you want the long story or the short story?
It's a long form podcast, Adam. We're here for the long run, not the.
So August of 2023, I was living in Louisville, Kentucky, and I drove up to Chicago for the Ludic show. And the day before the show, I had tickets, or I didn't have tickets. I was planning on going to a White Sox game. I was driving over the bridge in Gary, Indiana to Chicago. I was on the phone with my friend, and I was like, yo, can you check if there's any sports card shops near the White Sox Stadium? And because I was staying in Rosemont, so I didn't want to drive all the way to Rosemont, go to my hotel, then drive all the way back through traffic. Like it wouldn't have made sense. So I said to my friend, yo, is there any sports card shops near White Sox Stadium? He goes, yeah, there's this place called Bridgeport Hobby. I was like, all right, cool, I'll go check it out. So I walk in there, and Rob, the owner, who's now my boss, was sitting there. And I walked in, and he's like, yo, what's up, man? I was like, hey, how's it going? I'm just in town for the show tomorrow, and I'm going to the White Sox game. He goes, oh, where are you sitting? And I go, oh, I just got a ticket, like up in the top. Within 10 minutes of knowing this guy, he goes, nah, I got an extra ticket. Come sit with me. I was like, all right, that's cool. Whatever. Like, I'm down to meet new friends. And just made such a good connection with this guy, Rob, my boss. And within like an hour of knowing this guy, I felt like I've known him my whole life. Like we got along so well. And we went to the game, stayed in touch, and fast forward a year later, I had some life stuff happen, and I basically had nowhere to live. Not nowhere to live, but I didn't have a reason to live in Louisville, Kentucky anymore.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone with Rob one night, and I was like explaining to him what happened, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, like I think I'm gonna go move back to with my parents in Philly. And he was like, he's like, if you ever want to come to Chicago, let me know. And I was like, well, I don't know, like what I do in Chicago. Like, you know, I've only been there a couple times. He's like, well, why don't you come like work for me? And I was like, well, what would I do? He's like, you buy sports cards like you do now. I was like, all right, sounds good. 4 days later, I moved to Chicago, and the rest is history. And yeah, but I moved to Chicago, and it's had its ups, it's had its downs, but mostly ups. But I really enjoy working here, and it's a fun time. We have a lot of fun now.
As a North Side Chicagoan, it's not exactly the easiest trip down to Bridgeport, and I will say Rosemont. People thinking Rosemont is like downtown Chicago is often a hilarious thing for me.
You know, it's so funny when I talk to people, and I'm like, "Have you ever been to Chicago?" And they're like, "Yeah, I went to the National." I'm like, "So you went to Rosemont?" They're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's not Chicago."
No, not even close. Not even close. But no, what would you say, Adam, is like your favorite parts of your job these days? Like what I know you have a lot of like relationships, I know, in the hobby, but
what I love is being able to buy the kind of stuff that I enjoy and selling it. Because like my boss, Rob, he doesn't care what I buy as long as obviously like we can use it or make money on it. So like, even though like it's gonna sound fucked up, but my favorite part is like being able to spend a lot of money and buy cool cards, but it's not my money. It's like it's cool building relationships with people and getting to know people and just buying cool stuff and selling cool stuff.
Max, have you ever considered working for a card shop or like a larger entity?
Have you ever considered?
Often interested.
Have you ever considered working for Bridgeport Hobby?
I have done the former, I suppose, but the latter I have not, because I'm always a little bit privy on my geolocation, even though I may be Cards Max countrywide in my near future, whether that could be me moving out of Florida or even temporarily, or me not. But I have spoken to a few of the Long Island card shops about some positions. Most of the hesitancy being the local work either being too surface level and them not needing a full-time buyer and seller. And I think what Long Island did suffer from, can't speak for the Florida local card shop scene, but what what Long Island did suffer from was that there were a lot of shops that opened up right after COVID and didn't really have an aim in what they were doing. And there were a few card shops that were there for decades that didn't really have a desire to grow out of just selling wax.
Let me tell you something. Card shops who are nothing but a card shop, as in a physical location that you can go into, buy a box, buy singles, sell your cards, and leave. There's no reason, no disrespect to people who run those kind of businesses, but there's no reason that anyone would want to work there. What I mean by that is the card shops that do content, do some kind of thing outside of just operate a shop, that's where they need help.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Really, and I was going to say how you do have to give the flowers to Filth Bomb Breaks a little bit, because they created a shop, I want to say in 2020 or 2021, about 10 minutes away from my house. And they really transitioned from just being a Facebook breaker to being more and more, obviously their still primary thing is breaking on Fanatics Live.
That's where Rob's, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's where Rob started. He started breaking on Facebook.
And then they grow more and more out of just being a Facebook breaker into being a content team and doing breakdowns and doing all this other stuff. And I have another card shop that was 5 minutes away from my house as well that just started in 2023, and they're doing Whatnot. And honestly, their shop is a little bit underwhelming itself, but they're transitioning the online business and trying to make it grow. So it's really this new generation of card shops that both have more utility, I guess people like me or people like Adam that have the buying and selling skill set and need more than just someone who's just cataloging inventory, doing the cash register, or sorting the teams and team breaks for minimum wage. Oh my Lord.
But it's like, you're working at a place that's like has enough inventory that's worth basically the same as like any sort of like watch or like jewelry shop. Yeah. It's like it's not a fast food chain. It's not a McDonald's. It's not, sir, this is not a Wendy's. This is not a Wendy's, actually. Well, what have you seen change in the card world since you started? I know you've been traveling around, you and Max. Would love to hear kind of your insights into. I know there's been a lot, Fanatics taking over things.
What have I seen change in the card world?
Yeah.
Well, people sure love football now. That's for sure. People love football cards more than anything else.
Really? You think you guys sell more football cards, you think, than anything else?
Tommy, you're living in the collector space too much, not the consumer.
Tommy, yeah.
Tell me more. Educate me then, please.
Only 1% of people give a shit about Topps opening day parallels. It's sad but true.
It's April 23rd, 2024, and I can definitively tell you that CJ Stroud is more liquid than Steph Curry.
Well, yeah, that makes sense to me. But like, what about, I guess baseball season always takes a hit. Like, I feel like baseball season starts and then all the cards dip in pricing, right?
Or like collector.
Dude, football is going ape shit right now.
Well, what about Wemby?
Not even higher end. We're talking about the $50 cards, the $100 cards. People want an autograph of your favorite QBs. Back up.
Adam, what have you seen in Chicago specifically? Because I've made the joke that the GDP of Chicago took a massive hit when Justin Fields did not have the best season of all time this year.
But I don't care about the Bears. So,
well, yeah, I know you don't care about the Bears, but you got to have people coming into your shop trying to sell you Justin Fields cards these days.
Oh,
right?
yeah, and I tell them I don't buy Justin Fields. But I was saying that I've always said that. Like we don't buy Justin Fields because people just want too much for it around here.
Caleb Williams got to be good for business though to have a good QB.
Yeah, it's actually going to be really good. The best thing to happen to Bridgeport Hobby is Upper Deck Series 2 hockey
with Bedard.
Bedard, yes.
Is the local fanfare that strong? Because I have to imagine when we're talking about the entire scale of the product, it's mostly Canadian collectors that rip a blister pack at their Tim Hortons. But obviously, Bedard is a Chicago Blackhawks.
Sold 55 cases.
What's the usual amount for hockey? What was last year? What was the Series 1 amount?
We've never bought more than one case of any hockey product.
Yeah.
That's sick.
It's absurd. 55 cases.
I need an update once WNBA Prism comes out with Angel Reese rookies for the Chicago Sky. Go Sky, by the way. That's my one Chicago team that I support. I got to make it down to Bridgeport Hobby.
Dude, I live 5 minutes from the Wintrust Arena.
The Wintrust Arena is one of the randomest arenas out there. I love that it's just DePaul in the sky.
Yeah, it's just there.
So random.
There's a really good Italian place next to it, too.
Hard pivot away from card shops, unless anyone comes up with any ideas further. Adam, you are a true collector, as Max says.
Oh, boy, I got them all right here.
You are a true collector, someone that I have mad respect for, because you have a collection that focuses mainly on one player. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
But I would love for you to educate the people on your collection here.
A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people think I'm a University of Louisville fan because I lived in Louisville. I've actually been a University of Louisville fan since I was in 4th grade. And I grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Neither of my parents went to college. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I got to give my parents credit. Neither of my parents graduated college. My dad went to college. But so all these kids in my, when I was growing up, they would like root for their parents' college. So I didn't have that luxury. So there's a reason I root for Louisville, but it's irrelevant to this situation. So in 2017, this guy was drafted from University of Louisville named Brendan McKay when I was going to Louisville. And he's like the greatest college baseball player ever. And like I tell people, if college baseball was prospected like the NCAA football or basketball is, like this shit would be he'd be a superstar. He was drafted by the Rays, and I just made it a mission to just collect this guy, and I haven't stopped.
Yeah, let's see.
So these are just my 101s.
For the listeners back home, Adam is holding up 2 fat stacks of slabs.
Fat stacks of slabs.
What's number 1 for you, though? I know baseball collectors often have differences in what they think like the most valuable. So you have a ton of 101s. What's the number 1 101?
Did you say the first Bowman?
Well, I was gonna say that maybe is what people would default to, and now you're holding up the 101 Superfractor first Bowman.
Yeah.
How did you obtain that one?
From a very good friend of mine on Instagram.
He reach out to you? Because I know that once you start super collecting, you get people coming out of woodworks.
He middlemanned it.
He middlemanned it for you. Nice.
Yeah. So these are all just my 101s. I have probably like 3 or 4 more off at grading at PSA right now.
Are you still on the hunt for more, or are you kind of satisfied with the collection?
I want to get all of them, all the tops. I don't really like the Panini ones. All the tops ones I want.
What do you mean by that, though? All the tops ones. What do you mean by that?
I want every single tops 101 that's ever been produced in Brendan McKay.
That's
every single one, like ever.
You don't. So no reds though. Nothing that's
I have though, dude. These are just my 101s. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I have boxes of other shit in my bedroom, but like these are just the 101s.
So, all right, but some people only collect 101s or like only collect.
Like that's really what I want.
Max, have you ever helped Adam get a 101 McKay, or are you fake?
He cooped up all the 101s before I knew he collected them.
Can I tell my favorite story of my favorite acquiring one story? So this is an audio podcast too, so people listen to it, right?
Yeah.
So we got this one in my hand. All right. So this is the 2020 Chrome Update Pad Pradasha from Sapphire, rookie debut, PSA 10. Okay. So this card was put on 7-day eBay auction. And I think I've told you this story before, Max, but this card was put on 7-day eBay auction about 2 years ago. And I got a notification, just like every collector of a player, I have 101s turned on my, my notifications. So I get a notification that a new one went live. I was like, all right, cool. I go check it out. And I see it went live. So before I bid on any auction, I always check who's running the auction on eBay to see if maybe I can reach out to them or if I know them or whatever. Sure enough, it was a shop who follows me on Instagram. I'm not going to say their name on the podcast, but it was a shop who follows me on Instagram, and I knew they were like, they had a social media presence. So I messaged them and I said, hey, is this your auction? And I sent them the link. They responded. They said, yes, it is. I said, I'm unsure if you know this, but this is like my PC player. I would wanting to know if we could work out a deal off eBay so that I could win the card earlier, or I could get the card earlier and save everyone on taxes and fees and all that shit. He goes, we're auctioning the card for one of our customers on consignment. If you have an offer, you're more than welcome to relay it, and I will let him know. Or you're more than welcome to tell me it, and I will relay it. I go, I'll give you $300, friends and family, which I thought was pretty fair.
Yeah.
He goes, okay, I'll let you know. Messages me back the next day. And by the way, all this time, there were 0 bids on this card. He goes, I'll let you know tomorrow. I said, sounds good. He messages me back the next day. Hey, our buyer's going to take his chance on the auction, but we appreciate your offer. I said to him, I said, all right, I appreciate it. I said, before I respond, I want you to know this is going to be my card. Whether I PayPal you for it or whether I put my credit card in on eBay, I said, this is going to be my card.
Yeah.
So he goes, okay, well, what do you have another offer? I said, 400 friends and family. I said, I don't want to wait for the auction. I'll just pay you right now.
Yeah.
He goes, our customer is going to take his course on auction. I go, all right. 7 days later, I won this motherfucker for $285.
I love that shit. I love that sort of shit. Wait, Max, didn't you just have a recent story, Max, where you lost?
Yeah, I had the recent story where it kind of went in the opposite of both of our favors, not with the happy ending, no massage required, and that I was targeting Sam Hartman's Bowman First Superfractor autograph 1 of 1. It is one of his only 2 cards two 1 of 1s in a Wake Forest uniform, the other being the 2022 Bowman University non-autograph Superfractor. Well, I guess there's the black shimmers as well. The point being, the buyer bought it for $500.
Wouldn't there also be a Pat Bradasha?
No Pat Bradasha, no Sapphire.
They didn't do Sapphire that year?
No Sapphire. There should be just the black shimmer and the Superfractor.
They did Sapphire this 2023 though, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But he's in Notre Dame uniform.
Yeah, Notre Dame.
Oh, he transferred. Okay.
Yeah.
And I find a card shop is doing paid Instagram advertisements in order to sell this card. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I'm like, hey, I went to Wake Forest. I was a quarterback during the same time. I'm the same year as Sam Hartman. I'm like, I want to buy this card. He's like, okay, what do you want to be at? I'm like,
wait, I'm sorry. You were a quarterback?
I was the same year as Sam Hartman in
I
college.
thought you said I was a quarterback. I was like, no fucking way this guy was a quarterback in college.
Slice it, please, so it says that I'm a quarterback. But,
It did sound like you said.
I was like, no shot Max was a quarterback at Wake Forest.
Man, you really
I love you, buddy, but no shot. I was like, come on.
Yeah, maybe I should have stretched my throwing arm a bit. But anyway, I'm talking to the shop. I'm like, okay, you want it for $500. His stock is undoubtedly down. I've read, top 10 draft day quarterback lists with Sam Hartman not on the list for top 10 quarterbacks to be drafted. And I'm like, I'll give $650. And he's like, haha, yeah, no. We've received many offers above $1,000 on this card, and he just had his pro day. And I'm like, what are you looking for? 2,000 OBO. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Because eventually the customer is going to get tired. And then about 2 weeks later, his many offers above $1,000, he accepted $1,025 on eBay. And I'm like, well, gun to my head, I would have paid that. But I'm like, seriously? It's like you're netting $800. You're netting $150 higher than what I would have paid you, what I offered. It's like, God forbid, he just countered me, $900. It's like, let me get it on the table. But it's like, oh, we've received many offers above $1,000 plus. I'm like, well, say your sticker price. Your sticker price wasn't 2. But so that was a little upsetting. That will still be my kind of white whale. And yeah, Sam Hartman is not going to have an NFL career. That's not me saying anything crazy, but I will have my quarterback's 1 of 1 autograph in my collection at some point. Maybe, who knows? Probably not.
I didn't know you went to Wake Forest.
I did went to Wake Forest. I did attend.
It's a.
I graduated too. I did more than attend.
He also was in the backcourt with Chris Paul. He actually was the starting shooting guard for that Wake Forest team too. So
I think that would have been Lou Williams or Ish Smith. Wait, why did you Lou Williams?
Ish Smith went to Wake? That's sick.
Ish Smith is a D.
FT. Ish Smith denied me an autograph one time.
Adam, we end every episode with a segment, but I don't feel like we're ready for it yet. I feel like we still need to just like chat.
Oh, we're rolling. I love this.
We need to shoot the shit a little bit more. You're traveling around the country going to card shows. What are some of your favorite that you've been to? Don't give me the classics. Don't give me Dallas. Don't give me.
No, I hate Dallas.
Don't give me Burbank either.
No, I hate Burbank.
What are some of your favorite?
Capital City Card Convention in Des Moines, Iowa. Jamie, Brian, Joe, everyone who runs that show are just amazing. I love those people. Shipshewana Card Show, Shipshewana Card Fest in Shipshewana, Indiana. Brad Beeman, who runs that show, amazing people. Huge fan of the Philly show, but I'm kind of biased because I grew up in Philly. Big fan of Philly, big fan of Chantilly, Chicago Spectacular. Yeah, those are probably my favorites. But Iowa and Shipshewana are where I do the most damage. My favorite. Dude,
Shipshewana is like there's nothing like it. It's like kind of like the Field of Dreams for cards, I would imagine.
It's crazy. Like, it's wild.
What can you paint I've tried to paint this picture to people on the podcast.
Max, aren't you coming in May?
He is coming.
Maybe. I haven't booked my flight yet.
It is expensive, I will say.
It's a wild experience.
Can you give the people
progressively given more fear, uncertainty, and doubt into what I should expect from both Tommy and the card show itself? It's like, yeah, you better be flying at 6 a.m. and I'm shoving you in my car. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
It's a drive. It's a drive. It's like a 3-hour drive from Chicago, or at least.
Yeah, but I want a bender.
It is a card bender.
I don't think you know what that word means.
Adam, were you there the night? So they do the trade night the night before the show, and it's a great time. That's like maybe
that's what makes it so funny to me. The trade nights before the show.
Well, yeah, which I kind of fuck with though, because like
it's different. That's what I'm saying.
Like, dude, you gotta love the kids who can rip like an 8-hour card show and then are down to rip a 5-hour trade night the same night. But your boy, I cannot handle that. I can handle like 8 to 10 hours.
When I go to a show, I'm like, people are always like, "Hey, bro, I see you at trade night." I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm not going to trade night." Like, no. And then what happens is I go back to my hotel, I eat dinner, I turn on TV, and I go, I'm bored. I'm going to go to trade night. And I'm like, find myself at trade night.
Max is always shitting on me because he thinks I can't hang. I used to be able to hang. I used to have to hang when I was a kid.
You know why I hate trade night?
When you were like 20 and in college?
I hate trade night because of all the times I went to Dallas, and trade night is just code for let's go drink in the lobby. And I'm like, that's just boring. Like,
yeah,
it's just stupid.
There's a pretty strong culture of that. I feel like at most hotel-based card shows where it's like, I don't know, is that like the first culture collision? Very similar vibes of the trade night. Like,
wait, are you talking about January or February 2022?
Yeah, were you at that one?
At the Saturday trade night?
Yeah, the one that was just like in the
lobby?
Yeah, in the lobby.
That was the last time I ever drank in my life.
Wow.
That trade night was the last time I ever drank alcohol. And it's because of how fucked up I got.
Damn.
Yeah. Like
that's crazy.
I have a hold on. Wait, can I pull this up?
Yeah. If you want. I'm surprised we didn't run into each other then at that one and like meet each other.
We might have. I just don't remember.
Yeah, we might have.
So
I was also pretty drunk.
I saved these two photos in my phone. So this was me with my friends look, I don't know if you could see it, at 9:12 p.m. Mm-hmm. You know, this was me at 11:26 p.m.
Adam is now giving someone a big hug.
I'm giving someone a hug. It's my buddy Jimbo. But yeah. That was the most drunk I ever got in my life. And 2 weeks later I got sober. But I'll always remember that trade night. Me and people from a card shop that I'm very close with. Me and 3 other people split 7 bottles of wine.
That'll do it to you.
Yeah,
That'll do it to you.
Wild.
Stay safe, kids. Happy for you, Adam, that you're sober now.
No, appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. But yeah, I'm glad. In terms of card shows, though, like you've been going to them for a few years around the country. Like, what do you think? There's still the same excitement around? I know 2022 there was a really good energy at card shows.
Oh, great!
Especially national ones coming off COVID. Do you still feel that same sort of positive energy?
Yeah.
Or you feel like
every time I walk into a show, it's like, wow, this is great. It's just there's nothing like it.
Max, have you been to the Iowa show, Max? No way, right?
I have not.
Well, I kind of sometimes want to just like start a Patreon for the podcast just to get Max to travel to like every single show.
Shut the fuck up. You go to a show once a year. You need to start the Patreon and you need to start going to shows.
I got my own day job, Max, and we've talked about this, dude. I'm happy with my day job. I
go to like 2 to 3 travel shows a month. But that's not out of numbers, but that's still pretty crazy.
It's pretty good. You're impressive, Max. I got to give it to you, man. You're impressive. You're really about that life.
I'm on the ascent with me, Mr. Collector.
Max, where are you going this weekend?
Yeah.
This is not one of the weekends that I'm traveling, but I have my May booked, or my May mostly booked.
Yeah, where are you going in May?
I'm going to a secret show, and then I'm going to Dallas, and then I'm going to
what state is that secret show in?
I can't say.
Okay, can you tell me what coast?
East.
Keep your secrets, you
Wait,
motherfucker.
Is it north of Virginia?
It's in Maine.
Is it it's in Maine?
No, it's not. That would be sick though.
It's a card show in Maine.
Because I'm going to a show in the Northeast next week, the first week of May. That's why I asked.
All right. Last part of the episode with Adam. Every time me and Max talk about some deals that we made in the last week or so since we last recorded, I'll lead us off because, as Max says, I'm lame. I only really buy cards online these days.
Are we showing off our recent pickups?
Yeah, so recent pickups. Ooh, I'm starting off here. I bought a 2024. Everyone knows I've been stockpiling Corbin Carroll gold cups. I bought a nice little blue, whatever the fuck they call it, blue shimmer, blue foil. Out of $9.99, I got that for $5.99, free shipping on eBay. That's pretty nice. I'm happy about that. I got a 1999 Topps Chrome Refractor of Miguel Cairo gold cup. The 99 Topps Chrome Refractors are pretty nice, and I didn't have one for my binder yet, so I had to scoop that. I bought a hockey card, which is going to shock Max maybe. This is a Goodwin Champions Sidney Crosby with Obama holding the Stanley Cup. I don't know what year this is from, but I got that for, what did I buy that for? $5 plus $1 shipping. That was pretty nice. My only other nice one was 2021 Upper Deck Goodwin Champions, which was the first year that Upper Deck did their chromium version of a Goodwin Champions. And I got this Tiger Woods black gold at a $249 for $8.26 plus $1.70 shipping. So it's Tiger Woods' first chromium card ever made, black gold out of $249 for basically $10 shipped. So I'm hyped about those. Hoping to buy more cards. I'm actually right now stockpiling cash for Shipshewana and Memorial Day weekend. Hyped about that show. But those are my pickups of the week, my deals of the week. Who wants to go next, Max or Adam?
Adam does.
I want to go next. My one eBay pickup it came in this week. I bought it last week.
Yeah.
But I bought, what is this? 2009 Topps Chrome basketball. Everyone knows for the Steph Curry, right? I picked up the second year refractor to 500 of Marc Gasol. Now, hold on. He's guarded by Pau Gasol on the card. It's kind of fire. If you guys haven't watched the Marc Gasol documentary that's on YouTube, they just retired his number, the Grizzlies, and they made a whole documentary about it. It is amazing. It made me fall in love. I have to shout out my friend Iman Safdari, Cardmon on Instagram, one of my best friends in the whole world. He lives in Memphis. He put me onto this podcast. We watched, documentary. We watched it together. I bought this to commemorate the amazing time I had watching that documentary. Definitely a must watch if you haven't. Marc Gasol talks about Project fucking Pat in the documentary. It's amazing.
That's sick. That's
It's
so sick.
amazing.
Wait, how much was it? Did it cost you if you don't
No,
mind
it's
sharing?
free. It's on YouTube.
No. The card.
Oh, it was like $15. I don't know.
Yeah. Great card. Amazing pickup. I love to see it. Anything else noteworthy, Adam, or you saving those for
got some
Bridgeport Hobby line?
ones. I think they're actually sitting in my mailbox.
Nice. Well, Max, you wanna keep the conversation going? Usually we keep shooting the shit at him for a little bit here, just so you know.
That's fine. I'm rolling.
Yeah, I have some groovy stuff, some not groovy stuff. I bought up some Brandon Miller teal ices because teal ice is fucking cool. I bought what else did I buy? I bought another 2017 Bowman Chrome Aaron Judge refractor, and that's kind of neat. I've been toning down my buying as of now a little bit just because I'm going so much balls in the paint for my PSA submissions. Tommy is confused and bewildered by me having very large balls.
Balls in the paint. That's one I've never heard. You usually come up with new aphorisms each episode, Max.
Okay, you're deaf. That's why you don't hear things. But, the PSA subs are going rampant and vehement and whatever other adjectives you can describe aggressiveness and success with, or analogies such as items in the paint. So my buying's been a little bit more tame lately, but I'm a fan of, I'm going to use these next few minutes to devote my appreciation for the blue ices and Prism. We all know, blah, 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 liquidity, blah, blah, blah. Liquidity is the most dumb word in the hobby, liquidity. But blue ices were teal or teal colored for the first run of NBA Prism blue ices, most notably Jason Tatum, and I don't think Luka's is more of a royal blue, but Jason Tatum's blue ice is not royal blue. It's more of closer to a turquoise teal color. And Prism scrapped this blue ice color shortly after, but they brought it back again this year as a teal ice parallel out of 225. And the baby blue is oh so sweet. And I'm a fan of it. And it's a good color. And I'm good. Good cards, good cards, good.
Good cards. That's a cool card. Certified.
It's a little cool down the caveman speak in order to aptly describe my appreciation for it.
I wonder if they'll bring those back for football, or they'll bring the tealite, the 225s for football.
Yeah, oh no, it presently is the teal for football, right?
I don't know if they did that. I'm saying for 2024.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool.
Yeah. We have Refractor Rants breaking. We're going to break news right now. Tyrese Maxey is one most improved player for the NBA. Just have to share that. Very excited about that. Honestly, I'm a Sixers fan, and I think it should have been Kobe White, though.
Yeah, Kobe White. He had a great year. I was going to ask, Adam, are you a Philly sports fan?
All for Philly sports, yeah. No, I'll root for Chicago teams, if I go, but I won't ever root for the Blackhawks. Can't do that.
Do you collect at all Philly teams, or are you strict? Yeah. What?
I mean, I don't it's not crazy like that, but yeah, I pick it up here and there.
Nice. Who are your some of your OGs? Who are your favorites?
Like Jim Tomei, Cole Hamels, Jimmy Rollins, those kind of guys.
Alan
Iverson.
Yeah, I get that. That's you respect Delco Rips' collection.
Oh yeah.
This is a Delco Rips respecting podcast.
It is.
That's my guy. I love that guy. It's just fun.
Nice, Max. Max, you're feeling good. You want to give the people a little update? How are you feeling on the head side of things?
Oh, the head is normal. I'm pretty much doing everything back to normal, but working out. And I'm not to undermine things. I don't know. I try to be and operate pretty stoically and not overly push myself. But I like to think that things are pretty back to normal. I'm living life, loving life, enjoying cardboard, and enjoying this podcast.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm sure the listeners will be too. Adam, we appreciate your time.
Hey, thank you,
I know
guys.
you're a busy guy.
I appreciate it. Happy to come on.
Sweet. Well, Max, you got any parting words for the folks? I know you like to sign off here with something weird.
Blue and teal can be the same color under a different word.